Welcome to the Daily Jerry Anderson podcast, which today begins with a saga involving a leg belonging to Coilus interruptus. He fears that his leg may be the first sign of approaching senility. I mean, the way it's behaving.
I have other things on my mind that I want to talk to you about later.
Like what?
My leg.
What's wrong with your leg?
I can't get it up.
Well, I know that, but I mean, what's wrong with your leg?
I can't get it up over my knee.
Well, that's a problem.
I discovered this leg out in the golf course the other day.
Was it lying near one of the holes?
No.
Where was it? No, in a bunker?
No, I had bother with my right leg.
Yes.
I was trying to put on my waterproofs. Do you know what
waterproofs?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
It started to rain and I thought...
Well, that would be a reason why you'd put on your waterproofs.
And I got one leg in, my left leg in, my good leg in.
You shake it all about, did you?
Right?
Yeah.
And then when I was lifting my right leg,
yeah,
I was losing my balance.
In other words, what you're saying is you've lost the ability to stand on one leg like a crane?
Yes, which I pride myself in.
And I've seen you watching herons.
All right, and I sort of hopped my way to a tree.
Like
on the golf course with my trousers down around my ankles, basically. Do you know what I mean?
Hold on a second. You hopped your way towards the tree with your trousers at your ankles. I've done that before.
And I had to put my back up against the tree and lift this right leg up.
Whilst your trousers whilst your trousers were still at your ankles?
Yes.
I don't think I'd like to imagine that. The theme of today's show is, for reasons not fully understood, male pattern baldness. The presenter hoped for informed discussion on a subject that concerns very many men. Instead, a man seems keen to wind the presenter up.
I'm like Yul Brynner. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of people don't know who Yul Brynner is, but for the benefit of the people of a certain age, let me explain that he was a bald-headed actor who was in The King and I. Right, so, how long did it take for your hair to disappear completely?
It's just gradually over a lot of months, Jerry, you know. But I'll tell you, I was in Miami, and I paid $500 for a wig.
Where did you get it?
I got it in Miami.
What is that, the Amory? What is that?
Miami, Florida.
Will you translate, Sean? What will you translate here?
Right.
In Miami, in Florida. Were you there on a particular visit, or did you go there specifically to buy yourself a wig?
No, I was out there on a holiday, Jerry, and I went into one of them, seen one of the hair replacement stores, and I went in, and I got a lovely blonde wig. It's nearly down to your shoulders. And you might find this funny. Some of the punters get in the back of my taxi at night and all say, you need your hair cut and all, mate. I says, well, I'm going to get a cut shortly, you know.
I somehow get the feeling that this man is not taking this seriously.
No, Jerry, I'm giving you it straight. I wear a cap over it in case it blows off.
Did you get a wig in Miami or did you not?
I'm only after telling you, I paid $500 for a wig in Miami 10 years ago.
We have to believe him.
Why do we have to believe him?
I don't know. Can you not question him further?
I'll question him further.
Right, go on.
Okay, right. When you went into the shop, what did it say outside? Describe the shop for me. Did it say wigs inside?
It said hair replacement.
Hair replacement. And when you went in, what did you say to the person?
Well, I says, you know, well, I'm a wee bit sort of conscious about being bald.
Yes.
And they said, well, we'll do wigs in here as well.
Uh-huh.
And I went in and I tried on a lot of different wigs, and I got one that suited me. And the woman says to me, "I said, gee, lovely, you couldn't tell the difference." And it was $500.
That seems a lot. When was that again, if I may ask you?
That was 10 years ago, Jerry.
$500 would be the equivalent of $500 now.
But you know what I was thinking, Jerry? I was thinking of maybe getting a Jimmy Nesbitt done.
Well, you see, that's a thing. That's a possibility. Well, why do I not entirely believe him? Why do I genuinely think that he is not entirely genuine?
There's a big part of me believing him. At the start, I didn't, but...
okay, let's start him again.
I believe Robert now.
I mean, see, sometimes I detected Robert is pulling my leg.
I know.
We're talking, in a way, we're talking about things that are, important to people. Now, have you got the wig that you have at the moment, what is it like? It's not... what is it like?
It's a blonde wig, Jerry, believe it or not.
You see, I can't get over that. I can't go beyond that. I can't go beyond that, the fact he's got a long blonde wig.
Well, I was blonde anyway, Jerry. I had blonde hair anyway.
All right, then. So why didn't you just get an ordinary one that sticks out the back like a duck's arse? Why didn't you just get one of those? Why did you have
the girl in Miami in the hair replacement shop, We tried on different ones, and she says, "Well, you're blonde by nature anyway." So,
Well, what does Robert's wife think of it?
What is your... Do you keep it in the drawer beside the bed at night, or do you wear it during the course of your...
no, Jerry, see, when I go out taxiing at night, I put a cap. You know where it's windy? I have one of them tartan caps, and I put a tartan cap over it.
Yes.
And you can see the hair, at the back of my neck, down.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, I would wear a cap pretty often, Jerry. So people just look at you and just think you're not bald. It's just a guy's hair around it.
I think it's one of those Scottish caps. We know the Scottish football fans wear them, Jerry. You know the red hair and the tartan cap.
That's what I think.
That's what I think it is. I think it's a joke.
Yes, it is indeed.
It's not a joke. You don't think I'm getting on like Rob C. Nesbitt or something, do you?
Are you prepared to tell us the taxi firm that you work for, Robert?
Yeah, come on, yeah.
I drive one of the black taxis at the City Hall.
Right, we're going to ask about this then.
Continuing on the theme of baldness, it is clear that sooner or later the presenter and interruptus will be forced to generalise about people. This is dangerous in a country filled with Protestants and Catholics. Jerry, why is it men who drink heavily are rarely bald? Now, there's the thing that I noticed. Now, there's a thing. Now, there's a thing. Now, for instance, here in Derrystoke, Londonderry, I think we've probably more than our proportion of men who reside on the streets and seem to spend a proportion of their time more than normal drinking out of small cans. Now, I only ever saw one baldy alcoholic. They've usually got big masses of hair, shocks of hair. Yeah. Men who are bald in the front are sexy. Men who are bald at the back are thinkers. Men bald from front to back think they're sexy. Yes, thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Jerry.
Yes, who's this?
This is Eddie.
Eddie?
I believe what my mother said to me, and the same thing what Sean said to you before the news, that if you don't wear a cap, you'll have a good head of hair. And I'm now 74 years of age, and I do have a good head of hair. I go to see the barber every 6 weeks to 8 weeks. Now, I know he complains about me not coming in sooner to give him some more money, but that was it. And I've never wore a cap except when I got a bit older. Now, I suppose I'm in my 60s when I started wearing a cap because I felt I was keeping my head warm.
I don't think it has much to do with wearing a cap, to be
well,
honest, the fact.
I would disagree with you.
Well, maybe I'm wrong.
I think more or less the same because my mother more or less said that if you're letting your hair grow in the fresh air, you're not covering it up with a cap and so on, and you're retaining the hair. I think you might go baldy a bit sooner than you think.
Well, I think it might have been something to do with the fact that men who did wear caps in the past...
Well, I think the last time I saw you, you're a wee bit thin on top as well. But I don't think you're 74 years of age yet, are you?
No.
You'll be like Hugo, you're around about 30.
Hugo's around about the same age as me, yes. No, but what I was trying to say was, and I think it's important to say this, that round about the time, I would say probably right up until the 60s, I would say, men, particularly men who lived in the country, and men who lived in the city as well, but not so much,
I lived in the city.
Used to wear caps all the time. Now, for instance, my father wore a cap all the time. I only took it off, basically, to eat. And particularly in the country, men who would have lived in the country all their lives, they'd wear a cap. I mean, my uncle used to wear a cap to bed, for God's sake. He never took it off. The only time he ever took it off was to have his meals, and he used to put it on his knee. And as soon as he lifted his fork, he took the cap off. And then as soon as he had the last bite to eat, he put down the knife and fork, and then he took the cap on, put it on again. And that was it. But I don't know, that would be extreme.
Excuse me, but you told us your uncle was bald.
Yes, I'm just about...
That's Eddie's point.
No, but the point is that there are other uncles who did the same thing. My father had a huge head of hair, and he did exactly the same thing, so you can't generalise. Geordie Tuft has a view. You may say, no show without punch. I say, all shades of opinion and views are welcome, no matter how misguided, drink-driven or idiotic.
I know you're starting to lose it a bit.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, yes.
What?
Yes.
Cow dung.
Well, I heard that, but I wasn't entirely sure that would be...
Well, I'll tell you, it'll work. Did you? How long has you seen a baldy cow?
It's been some time, I have to say, since I saw a cow that was stricken with loss of hair.
No, and rub it well into your scalp.
Yes.
Cow dung.
Yes, I know. But you see, that would be kind of socially unacceptable in many ways.
How would it be?
Well, you wouldn't want to go out, would you, with a head full of cow shite? I mean, you don't want that, do you? I mean, people would...
Couldn't you do it when you finish, or couldn't you do it at night?
Before you go to bed? You could go to bed, yeah. With a head full of cow stuff. Oh, well, have you ever talked to anyone who tried that?
Oh, yes. There's a rooster starting to crow.
I hear that. So have you ever talked to anyone that worked for?
Yes, and it works 100%.
Really?
Yes.
All right, then. So we recommend that. So,
Why, them square crowing roosters.
That rooster's going well. How many roosters do you have now?
I have 9.
9?
Ah.
You mustn't get a wink of sleep at all.
Well, they go to bed. Why, he's in gore form now.
Hens beware. The hens are all running for the hills.
And my goats are doing well. Whitey and Stanley.
Whitey and Stanley.
See, they're all answering each other.
They know they're on the radio. All right, Jordy, thanks very much for the rooster chorus.
Cock-a-doodle-dee.
And sooner or later, it's down to the nitty-gritty. The talk turns to that group of men who have been maligned since the dawn of man-made fibre. Yes, men who seek out, buy, and wear wigs. No sorrier creature exists. Supposing you had one.
Right.
Supposing you had one. You see, what would happen? You would come in one day, and I would look at it, and I'd go, Jesus, boy, his coil's gone off his head. Look, he's got a wee wig, look.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to say, Sean, you've got a wig. I'm not going to say that. So I'm not going to say anything. So you will sit down and you'll say, nobody's noticed this. This is great.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. And then you will go on doing that, and everybody's saying, did you see Coyle's wig? You see, and they're all chatting away, but they're not saying anything to you because nobody will say anything in front of you because they realise that if you hadn't come in and said, oh, do you like my wig, boys? That you don't want to talk about it. In much the same way as no bald man has ever gone up to another bald man and says, do you know you're going bald? Never done that. The only people who say you're going baldy are people with a big head of hair. So no one will ever say, I see you've got a wee wig there. It's a lovely wee wig. How much was that? So in actual fact, what happens is, as time goes on, you think that nobody notices it. And you think that it's completely invisible. So even if somebody asks you if you've got a wig, you say no. So you convince yourself that you haven't got one.
But should you say to a man, that's a great wig?
Never.
Should you? Why not?
Never. You
Why
never
not?
say that because he's probably convinced himself that nobody notices because nobody's ever said that to him before. If you ever went up to a guy and said, listen, that's a great wig, you're probably the only person that's ever said that to him because nobody would have the nerve to say that. You would say that maybe to your brother, but not to someone that you...
Would the man not feel better eventually if you said to him, that's a great wig, where'd you get that?
No, he wouldn't.
That really looks good on you.
No, it doesn't work like that. No man ever wants to hear mentioned the fact that he's wearing a wig because the reason why he's wearing it is to distract people from the notion that he doesn't have any hair. So it's completely gone.
Does a man sit down and talk to his wife about, I'm thinking about getting a wig, Mary? What do you think?
He would need to, I think. I have no experience in that regard. But he would need to because, after all, she would need to be in on it.
Yes.
Because, I mean, imagine if he appeared one night and he had it on and she didn't know.
She
might think it was the man. She might think it was the man next door. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.